Good day, everyone. Joe C. coming at you from the dumpy little office in West Covina, California. This is another Foos On The Run episode where I take the Foobar microphones over to the Fallen Electric's rehearsal space. We're talking to Jimmy, Drew, Richie, and myself. We're watching a Dodger game. Unfortunately, it didn't end up really great, but I just want to get some business out of the way before we go on with the rest of the show. Do you shop on Amazon? Would you like to support the show? Well, go to foobarshow.com. That's FOOBarshow.com. At the bottom of the homepage, click on the Amazon banner, bookmark it on your browser, and do your regular Amazon shopping from there. Doesn't cost you anything, and you're supporting the show. All right, well, without further ado, here's the show. Don't be a dick.
Foos on the run. When the day is done, let's have some fun and yell at everyone for the Foos on the run. Foos on the run.
From Jimmy's living room in Montclair, California, it's the Foobar Show! What is up, everybody? This is Joe C. I am here with the Fallen Electric at Jimmy's Pad. Say what's up, everybody.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Yeah, I'm on location here, Foos on the Run style. And
Foos on the run.
and I got the boys. I got Drew, Jimmy, and Richie all in one place. I know it's hard to do unless we're playing a show, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Jimmy, dude, so today was supposed to be practice, but we realized that there was a Dodger game on. So we have the Dodger game. Yeah, now we got the Dodger game on mute. I even brought the dog. Pluto is having none of this right now.
Pluto!
And he's just chilling in the kitchen right now.
Doggy.
So Jimmy, there's a new song called "Listen."
Yes.
It's not recorded yet. But what do you think about? I mean, how soon do you think we might be able to pull that off, where we can get it recorded and available to the masses?
Honestly, I'm kind of hoping that we could do this maybe a month and a half to 2 months.
Yeah.
If we can get this out to the people and have them really see what the turnaround is with our music. It's kind of, we've been writing a lot more stuff that's a little bit more melodic, a little bit more musically inclined. Mm-hmm. And with the originals, I think that's how the next record is going to play out. It really has got that. It's going to have a little bit more.
I think it's going to be a little bit more eclectic, to be honest with you. There's some ideas in play right now that are very punk.
Right.
There's some that border metal. By and large, it's very grungy. That's the theme that kind of maintains throughout. But what about you, Richie? What do you think, man? You're the rookie of the team here. So from somewhat of somebody that used to be an outsider looking in, what's your take on everything that's going on so far? That includes the writing process.
The writing process has been great, man. I mean, hopping on at the time that I did, a lot of the stuff that we play it's great. There's a great structure there. There's definitely a style to it. A lot of the things that we've been writing now, it's coming together quickly, and I feel like a lot of us give really good input into. I mean, there's different styles that we all grew up listening to and whatnot. So I think a lot of that is coming out in the songs that we're writing.
Yeah, I think so too.
Agree. Yeah.
And what about you, Drew? You've been in the band as long as it's been called the Fallen Electric. Mm-hmm. You really bring a lot of good melodic bass to it, and I think that's what separates a lot of good bands with just bands. Mm-hmm. Is their bass lines. when they really treat their bass lines and not just follow whatever the guitarist is doing, but you're in your own zone. Specifically with this new song called "Listen," it has its own kind of road that it parallels with the rest of the song. I mean, what's your take on it, and how do you write these? Like, what do you think of when you write these bass lines?
I mean, I get the general idea of how it's played, and then I just kind of, I guess, throw that walking style into it and add a little bit more of a melody, mm-hmm. and just give it more character. And I don't know how to really explain it. It's just what feels good and what sounds good. And
well, see, that's what always attracted me to your bass playing. was like you can actually make these melodic kind of styles on your bass that don't follow the guitar, like Jose said. It's just really, you got really a unique sound.
Yeah.
What you do, it's like there's definitely something different about it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I'm pretty excited to hear. I'm bringing in ideas where I've pretty much written all of the parts, but still give you guys free range to kind of edit them to your own style and liking, which you guys have taken off to. I mean, not to say that you guys have rewritten the song, but you've taken your own flavor to it. And even with Richie's ideas that he's bringing through, I think it's gonna come together as it is right now. I think, is it safe to say that we have 4 solid ideas that we're working around right now?
Yeah,
I would say so.
For the most part, and there's that we've at least presented as a group to each other, but I'm sure we have others that we still need to hash out and just work around. So
right.
I mean, we got a few shows coming up. Do you have that on you there, Jimmy? What's on the calendar coming up?
Let me pull this up real quick.
We got Laverne Brewing.
Yes, it's going to be Laverne Brewing, which is November 2nd.
Right, Friday, November 2nd. We're playing from 6 to 10. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I have. So it's an early evening type of show.
Right.
So we'll be done a little early. So those who are ready to drink, come on down.
So next on the calendar would be November 10th, which I believe is a Saturday.
Actually, don't we have
November 3rd?
we have November 3rd
November
that we
3rd?
just added at Boondocks, and we just finished
that's right.
playing Boondocks, and they liked us a lot, enough for them to invite us back. And then you said what?
November 10th.
Then November 10th at JD Allison's in Upland.
In Upland.
And that's more or less where we have a residency going on. And they're always inviting us over, and we there's always a good crowd.
It's kind of the start of our fan base. It's kind of one of those locations that just was the location that kind of where it all started, and it kind of is keeping that vibe. Every time we play, it gets a little bigger. So it's just kind of one of those places that does that.
I remember back in January of this year when we put out the album for our album release party. That's where we held it, and man, that room was freaking packed. It was wall to wall. We had
still
cake.
think about that, man.
And
oh man, we had a cake. We had
Custom TFE cake.
yeah, custom cake with the album cover on it. It was pretty dope.
right.
And let's see, what do we got next here? We got Tilted Kilt, December 1st. That's over in Rancho Cucamonga. I think later on in the year, if I'm not mistaken, we're playing the Tilted Kilt on December 28th in Moreno Valley. So a lot of...
Get a little further out there now.
Yeah. And then, of course, March 9th, we have Last Name Brewing. And if you guys haven't checked out Last Name Brewing, check out their Pomona Queen. I understand that they have that bottled and you can find it at your local Bevmo. So
I personally love when we do the brewery shows. I think they kind of fit our style.
Yeah.
They just I would love to eventually do a brewery tour across the United States. That'd be really something.
The brewery scene is definitely on the rise. I mean, 10 years ago we didn't have this many breweries in our backyard.
No, not at all.
And now they've just popped out, just out of nowhere.
Right.
So it's a cool place. I like the acoustics that come out of playing in a brewery too. I mean, they tend to be these high ceiling warehouses. Or hangars and that kind of thing, where the sound would just carry, and I can dial back my reverb every now and then because that sound would just carry throughout the whole fucking place.
I just take the reverb off my amp, and the room just kind of does it for me.
Yeah, man. So so we're here watching the Dodger game, watching it progress as it is right now. It's bottom of the 5th inning, 2-1 Dodgers. We'll see if they can maintain this lead. They lost yesterday to the Red Sox. By the time this airs, Game 3 would have happened, and we'll be what, elbow deep, balls deep, elbow deep into the series.
I think that's first knuckle for sure.
First knuckle.
Oh yeah. That's first knuckle for sure.
Okay.
Oh, the check swing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, it was a hard fought game, that first game. it was neck and neck pretty much the entire game, and then Boston just pulled away.
What's interesting about this series and the first two games is that you got to keep in mind it's fucking cold in Boston now.
Right.
It's 40 degrees. Kershaw was only wearing 2 thin layers yesterday as he was pitching the first 5 innings of the game, and dude, you can see these guys breathing. You can see their breath. It was 40 degrees. Can you imagine just trying to throw a pitch in 40-degree weather? When you're used to sunny LA.
Yep.
So definitely the Dodgers are at a disadvantage these first 2 games, but next 3 games will be played here at home in LA, where I understand will be a particularly hot weekend. So, I mean, we'll be in our element, and we'll see where that takes us. But I'm excited, for the Dodgers to be in the World Series once again, back-to-back NLCS champs. I know... Richie, you're an Angels fan.
That's right.
And we've talked about this on the podcast already before, but
briefly.
Yeah. but you have your thoughts about what the Angels should do to change their level of play. Who do they need to get rid of first off?
They got to fire their GM.
Yeah.
They're notorious for hiring bad GMs. I mean, we've gone after so many great players, and here's the thing with us is that we go after players that have already been established, and they've been in the league years and years, and they've had track records of success. And for some reason, we always end up picking them up on the later end of their years where they're starting to tail off and that sort of thing. But we just got Mike Scioscia's not their head coach. Their manager anymore. So he's done. We actually just picked up a new one, Brad Osmus, if I'm not mistaken. So that's exciting to get some new blood in the Angels, office there.
Yeah, dude, it's interesting. For those who aren't into baseball and haven't been, in my opinion, this is the time to start. They've implemented a few things. They've implemented a few things in the sport that just make it just go. Before, a lot of people, the reason they wouldn't watch or continue watching is because they would say it's boring. It's a slow-moving game, which I get. If you're not into the stats, if you're not into the science of the pitching and the hitting and what happens when you do X, Y, and Z and how that affects other things, then of course you're going to be bored.
I can see where it gets a little okay.
But now with if you want to walk somebody, you just got to tell the ump, I want to walk him. And a game that would take maybe 4.5 hours to go from beginning to end. You're getting the average game is probably around 3 hours now, 2:45 to 3 hours. So I think it's definitely more digestible. And and October is the best time of the year if you're a sports fan. You got the World Series going down in October. You've got
hockey season just started.
Basketball
season just started.
You got football. What week are we in football now? We're
week 5.
Week 5. So
I haven't been up on the football as much as I should be because that's
the Rams are doing amazing. Yeah. Right now, they're undefeated so far, so it's been a fun October so far, especially being a Dodger fan. But I guess that was the sports with Richie.
Hey, what we did Josh?
Josh is at home
masturbating
to this 2-1 lead.
Shout out to Josh for that.
And it's not a bad lead. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
you got to show your love somehow.
I suppose you do.
That's the only way to do it.
And if you're Josh, you're painting the ceiling.
Yeah.
But you don't see a lot of these scoreboards anymore where it's analog still, and that's what they're highlighting on the TV.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Most scoreboards are digital, but not Boston.
What? That stadium's old.
Yeah, it is.
It's one of the oldest, if not the oldest.
Right.
I think it's got Fenway and Wrigley Field, if I'm not mistaken, are the oldest ones now.
Do we have any plans for the future here, especially with Richie or anything, and being part of us? Or
I'm gonna start taking off my shirts at shows if that's.
Okay. Wow. All right.
We can include that, right?
Hey, whatever.
Is that cool?
Whatever.
No, man.
No, it's not. Not at all. No, I was having a nice little discussion with Jimmy about the future of the band and what direction we're going to be going and that sort of thing in terms of style of music and this, that, and the other. And I think we're all pretty much on the same page in terms of where we go from here. We have a nice established following. We have a nice established sound. It's only going to get better and better, and the show's bigger and bigger. And playing these shows, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun seeing a lot of the people being into it and dancing around and singing and yeah, man, it's definitely a good time. So if you haven't caught the band playing live, you should definitely come check us out. It's a good time.
It's a lot of fun. And you mentioned, Richie, you're back. You're kind of back to the grind now by doing this with us, and you haven't been on the drums for quite a while.
How
now.
long has it been since you picked up the drums? It was quite some time. I mean, I jammed with you a couple of times, but that was just an hour here and there.
It's been a couple. I'd say maybe like 5 or 6 years. It's definitely been a while since I've actually continuously played, because when you're in the grind, kind of like Jimmy was saying, you're practicing and you're conditioned. You're conditioned, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So hopping back into doing this was kind of like riding a bike. It was very just like I fell into my groove, and it's like once you start, it's really hard to not
and talk about from not playing, like you said, like for 5 years and getting back to a grind of practicing every week, and every show about every other weekend. That's a lot. That's a lot for anybody to kind of bring, to really take in.
I will tell you this though, the first 4-hour show that we did together, I was gassed. I was fucking dying. Maybe halfway through the second set, I was like, guys,
that's what
put me under some oxygen or something. I'm dying back
He
there.
did mention that.
But
you sore?
Yeah. No, but
other than your ass.
Yeah, of course. But no, it's been really nice to get back into the swing of things. This is why I fell in love with playing drums and playing music.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Richie and I were in a band over 10 years ago. We were bandmates back when I was 16. Richie was 17. And we were playing all these bars. And oftentimes the method of payment was a pitcher of beer or, or
peanuts or something.
Yeah, something like that. So
See,
it was.
You guys were in the scene where they were still doing X's on the hands and I don't know if you guys got.
Yeah.
Did you guys do that? Did they do that too?
Well, we kind of flew under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
Being that young and being allowed to play these
the bar
gigs,
scene,
not really allowed, but we did it. We ended up getting drinks here and there. So here we are, these kids, 17, 16, years old, drinking beer in bars. It was just it was definitely.
But
I
think at the same time we were very conscious about not acting childish or acting immature, and sticking out like a sore thumb.
Well, absolutely. I think it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Right.
Playing these shows, it's like you have to behave. Play the part, basically.
When in Rome, man.
Play the part, yeah.
Yeah, don't stick out. I mean, if I could have grown a solid mustache and beard back then, I totally would have. But these short and curlies didn't really come in until I was in my mid-20s. So, and then on top of that, I had a job that required me to shave, so I couldn't even realize if I was able to until I was about 25 anyway. But yeah, dude. It's been a fun ride so far. I mean, I'm really glad to have Richie back because he brings a certain
je ne sais quoi.
A certain flavor into the band where when I joined the Fallen Electric wasn't really there. At least not coming from the drums. We had an amazing drummer, Travis. Unfortunately, he found another opportunity with a different project, and he had our blessing, and he's by all accounts he's very happy with them, and we're happy for him. But I don't want to discount that. Sometimes the culture of the group has to all fit in. And I think, when we all try to hang out as friends, it's not hard to do. I think if you guys would agree with me.
Totally.
I'm gonna say that I don't like hanging out with Jimmy as much. Only because of his locks.
Okay.
I'm a little jealous there. I'm losing my hair, so
you got some recedingness.
Yeah, I know. So it's kind of one of those things. But
Richie,
whatever.
but
It's all good, dude.
the thing I noticed about he's grown out the beard now, which is amazing, and he told me he was he's gonna be growing out the old. I always say it's in the beard. The rock and roll's in the beard.
Absolutely.
And Richie's kind of doing the whole beard thing now, and it's gonna be that's gonna be kind of a cool thing.
Looks like November's a little late to the party.
He's gonna be a little late to the party.
I think Drew's on my genetic watch, where he might not really get a beard until he's 25 or so.
We'll see what happens.
All right.
But I am with Joe on the whole. It feels different. It's never. It actually feels tighter than it's ever been before. We have like this thing about us now that is definitely a click, and it's something that is very, it's very refreshing. So it's nice, and we share that not as well as off stage as well as on stage as well.
Right.
So we share this thing that is something that we gel with. So
There's a dynamic.
yeah,
Definitely.
I can't explain it. It's just one of those things that just feels right now.
Yeah.
Where it didn't before.
Yeah, so I think that's going to translate into the new songs that we're going to be playing, the new covers that we're going to be weaving into the set. I mean, we're probably going to not abandon some covers, but just not play them as much so that we can introduce some new ones in there. I know that back at the beginning of the TFE, at least when I joined, the focus was the nostalgia out there is the 90s, and we're all about the 90s. I mean, if you ask me, that's my heart and soul right there, is the 90s grunge alternative.
Right.
But
I thought it was the 80s, man.
no, fuck that. Fuck you, fuck the 80s.
Well, it's kind of like I always say it is it's kind of where music should be still. It's one of those, it's kind of that genre where it's right in the middle. It's like it's got a little bit of everything to it. Everything from like the old 70s to the old hippie movement,
right,
all the way bringing it back to the rock and roll. And it all has that in it.
Yeah, but what I was getting at too is the hindsight's 20/20. Maybe while we were living it, in our high school days, Jimmy and Richie,
right.
The 2000s, the early 2000s, where you had these great bands that I think back then we took for granted. The Killers, Franz Ferdinand, the Hives, all those great bands that when you look back, Arctic Monkeys. They're still killing it.
Yeah.
When we look back, we're like, wow, those are great bands, and looking back, they established that decade, and I think we're going to try to incorporate a little bit more of the early 2000s within reason. Right. As long as it fits into our style, into our sets. But by and large, I think our focus right now is going to be writing new original songs so that we can put out a new album. Mm-hmm. And
we're on a roll with that right now.
We've been discussing it too, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to release one song at a time, and calling it a single.
I'm with it.
And then as soon as we have a good solid dozen or a baker's dozen worth of songs,
here's the album.
Here's the fucking album. You guys already know the words, but here it is in one album. So I think it's going to be a good thing.
A baker's dozen's 11, right?
No, it's 13.
Okay, that's weird.
How is that weird?
I mean, Richie. I just, why would it be 13? Isn't a dozen 12?
A dozen is 12, but a baker likes to taste what he creates, so he makes an extra one so that he can make sure that the quality.
Well, wouldn't it be
control is
11 then?
No, Dick.
What do you have against odd numbers?
I'm just saying, 13 is kind of weird. 12, okay, here's 12. I get the point of, him wanting to taste it, but wouldn't you subtract one from that? Whatever.
They've been saying this for years, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
I've been living under a rock currently.
You've been living a lie, bro.
It's a lie.
Well, it's up to you guys. We can I can play one of the tracks. We can go down the line too. Out of our original songs, Drew, you sing one of the songs, but would you say that's your favorite song to play out of our original set?
It's my second favorite. I think my first would have to be Failure. Failure is just a fun song.
All right. Probably the most chill song, though.
Yes.
One of the most mellow songs that we have. What about you, Jimmy? What's your favorite song to play out of the bunch?
Oh man, it's hard to really pick one song that is really my favorite, but because they're all really fun to play, especially the way we do it and the way that the live shows come out. But it's honestly, I'm gonna have to probably go with maybe "I Awake."
Okay.
Or "On a Mission" would be one of
those are hard hitting.
Those are hard hitting. They're kind of in your face rock songs. The new song "Listen" is really fun. Me and Richie were actually discussing that earlier. That it's got like a really good. The feel of it is really something different than more so than the other originals for whatever reason. It's just got this. I don't know if it's just because it's a new song and it's just time for the new songs to come out, but it's just. It's really got a good feel to it, but as of the first record, I would have to say "On a Mission" or "I Awake" would be some of the fun ones.
What about you, Richie? Which out of the originals is your favorite to play?
To play live, I mean, they're all fun to play. One in particular, the new song "Listen" is probably by far my favorite one to play. It's got a lot of dynamic to it. There's a lot of moving parts, and it's just one of those ones that I always like playing live, you know.
If you ask me, the new song "Listen," and a lot of the people listening to this podcast right now who haven't checked this out live haven't heard the song yet, but if I were to describe it, I'd say it's as if the Foo Fighters, the Toadies, and TFE fucked and had a baby. It would make that song.
This new record, which I'm very excited about, you're going to see a lot of the influences coming out, I believe, in these songs, and they're really going to stand out to, I think, to a lot of the audience, a lot of people that buy our record and stuff, and it's you're really just gonna hear it, and it's just gonna be kind of a cool thing to experience.
Yeah, man, I agree. Well, one of my favorite songs to play so far, I always enjoy. I mean, it's hard to pick one. So if I'm going to narrow it down from three, the top three is "Never Seen the World,"
right,
"On a Mission," and I have to say "Listen." It just and I'm not just saying that because we just wrote it and it's kind of new and in the spectrum of what we have so far, but it's just a fun song to play.
It's a very fun song to play.
And but if I have to narrow it down further from there, I think the fucking title track, "Never Seen the World," is probably my favorite one to play because of the harmonies that we're putting in.
I was just gonna say those harmonies. I get chills every time. And it's like, and I usually only do that, especially when we do cover songs.
Yeah,
more so just because being originals, you're automatically picky about it. But it's for some reason every time we play that, just knowing that, I don't know if it was on the radio or just whatever it is, I get the chills every time we hit that chorus.
Well, people have told me, have approached me and said, "Hey, man, that sounds like a solid Gin Blossom song."
Wow!
because specifically because of those harmonies in the verses,
right?
I mean, I took it as a compliment because I fucking love the Gin Blossom. So
right,
absolutely,
right. Yeah, so
that's not a bad way to go.
You guys have any last words to say?
Yes, if you haven't come check this out, guys. We have a lot of shows coming up.
Right.
And also, come say hi to us. We're not going to bite. Except maybe Drew. Drew likes to bite.
He nibbles. He
does nibble. But come say hi to us. Come give us high fives and hugs and,
Yeah, we always like talking to people at the shows, man. Especially if they're a lot of people who end up coming up usually come up with a beer. That's not necessary. You can just come say hi.
Yeah. And it's kind of a cool thing. It's just it kind of shows the amazement on the fans, and how appreciative they are.
Yeah, totally.
Super grateful too, guys.
They're grateful. They're just good people, and it's really good people to have in our circle.
Yeah, man. All right, well. Thanks, guys, for doing this podcast, and we'll go from there.
All right, well, back in the studio here, I have actually surfaced a live audio from a video taken at one of our previous shows of our new song, Listen. We talked so much about it, I just had to go look for it, and sure enough, our good fan, Bailey, she took a video of this entire song, and it actually was not terrible quality. You can listen to everything going on, everything that we're talking about, all the intricacies of the bass line and everything that we're talking about. So here's our music segment.
said a hip. I wanna ride.
Well, Eargasm high fidelity earplugs already trusted by 100,000 customers and growing. Enjoy your favorite activities without worrying about damage to your ears. Keep the noise to a minimum, but still hear people talking and hear music with clarity. Discreet design, and it comes with a lightweight aluminum case for easy transport. Click through the banner at foobarshow.com to get yours and help support the show. Eargasm, put it in your ear. All right, guys, we'll check out our new song, Listen, live version. Here we go. well, that's going to do it for another Foos on the Run episode. Thank you all very much for listening into the Foobar Show. Thank you for downloading the pod on most major podcast apps, subscribing, and telling a friend like a champ. You can always reach us at Foobar Show. That's FOOBarshow.com. And FOOBar Show is our handle on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out. Drop us a line, and we'll foo it up like a couple of foos. I've been Joe C, and for everybody involved on this Foos on the Run, don't be a dick.
Foos on the run. Foos on the run.
Hey, podcast listeners, Joe C here. Are you digging all the music talk and want to see what my band, The Fallen Electric, has in store? Check us out at thefallenelectric.com for all news, show dates, and contact information. Also, be sure to listen to our album, Never Seen the World, available on all digital music stores and streaming apps. It's time to get electrified.
Let's just go and waste some time.